So I know when I kick the bucket, my stuff's going to go through the roof.
Oh, through the roof.
You know? But
yeah,
I stay busy with all kind of craziness, man.
You know what's really encouraging to me is that despite all the physical abuse your body's had, your mind is very sharp. And even though you've gone through this whole fentanyl problem, the opioid thing with people with injuries, my God, it's so legendary. So many people have had those issues. But you came out of the other end, and you seem clear as day.
Well, I don't have an addictive personality, because I'm either all the way in or all the way out. And you got to realize that all these wrestlers, and I don't know the numbers, but, if you said football, how many wrestlers have died in the last 25 years, the number could be 10 or 20. If you said baseball, the number could be 10 or 20. But when you say wrestling in the last 30 years, it's a couple hundred, like 250 guys that have heart attack, overdose, this, that, and the other. And I was the ringleader. Yeah. I was definitely the ringleader, and I ran real hard. But I just kind of knew when we got to the edge, I knew when to pull back.
So what was this partying, or did it start with injuries and then lead to?
It's the schedule. It was the schedule, first off, and not have any real rules. Because, it's like Vince McMahon runs the show, okay? And so when, let's just say, Roman Reigns goes out, who's one of their biggest stars now. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what's going on now, but Roman Reigns is a huge star. And when he goes out to wrestle somebody like Dolph Ziggler, the referee or Vince, or whoever's the agent, will say Roman Reigns is going to beat you, Joe Rogan, with the sleeper hold or something, or a Superman punch. Okay, fine. Well, back in the day, when we first started and Vince took over, I'd go to the Philadelphia Spectrum, and Vince would say, okay, I want you to beat Piper with a leg drop. So, okay, I'd go tell her, hey, Roddy, Vince wants me to go over and beat you with a leg drop. He'd go, no. Okay. Well, what do you want to do, Roddy? And then I'd have to explain business to a lot of guys. And I love Roddy to death. We hated each other for years, and then we became really, really close before he passed the last 5 or 6 years. And so I would always tease him when we became friends. I said, Roddy, like when you didn't want to do, Randy and I would flip the belt back and forth all the time, because Randy would do business, and if I needed the belt back after a movie, give it back, then I'd drop it to him again. And I told Piper, I said, you made a lot of money, but can you imagine how much money, you got 8 kids, or 7 or 8 kids, I said, can you imagine how much money you would have made if you'd have let me beat you one time? Then I could have went to Vince and said, hey, we can trust this guy. Let's put the belt on Piper, because I don't need the belt.
Right.
I got the gimmick, bro. I'm all clear in my stuff. I was locked and loaded. I needed somebody to take the belt so I could chase him.
Right.
Because if I can put that belt on you, I see a big dollar sign there, and I'll chase your ass all over the place.
Right.
I said, Roddy, can you imagine how much money you would have made if you let me just beat you once? And then you come to WCW, and I'm a bad guy. You beat me every night. Big deal. It's a work, brother,
Right.
It's all about the money and the miles. If there's money to be made, let's make it, brother. So throughout all this stuff running with these guys, I saw them all drop off, one at a time. And it was the schedule, which is very taxing because we were running really hard back in the day. It was, you could go to Austin, Texas tonight. Hey, Doc, I hurt my back. Okay, Piper or Hogan, here's 30 perks. And the next night you're in Chicago. Hey, Doc, I hurt my back. Oh, okay. Every single town, there was a doctor. And that's how this whole thing got started, and then, all of a sudden it ends, for whatever reason. You go get a couple DUIs, or you get in a fight and hurt somebody really bad, or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden you're either too old, or you get injured, or you hurt somebody, you do some stupid legal stuff, and your career ends. And then you go home and you don't fit in at home, because you've been gone for 10 or 12 years, and your wife's raised the kids, and you walk in, you don't fit in. So dad's home now, so what are you doing here? Right. And you don't fit in, and then that's when the drinking, and then there's that I tell my girl all the time, I say, I get this crazy turbulence in me, and it hits me like it's 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I get, like if it's another man, I'm real good with turbulence with another man, but just with normal, people, like her, I don't want to start anything with her or pick at her, but that turbulence from every night, going from playing cards with Andre, at 9 o'clock at night till 10 minutes later, somebody kicking you in the head, kicking you and stomping you and beating on you, and coming up, raw,
So do you
crazy.
think your body was like programmed to get ready to do violence at
Yeah.
night?
I could go from sitting here talking to you like this, and 2 minutes later I walk out there and I'm spinning around. When I slide under the ropes, this bad guy stomping me in the head. And you got to make that adjustment. So all of a sudden at night, I'm sitting around at 8 o'clock at night, and I'm going like this. I'm watching American Idol. I'm going, what is wrong with me? I can feel this turbulence ramping up in me. And that's why I got the gym in my house, because sometimes I'll go downstairs and I'll crank at night, just boom. You know, because when you're used to breaking that sweat every night and wrestling a guy your own size and physically getting completely worn out to where you're like, okay, now I can relax. I've had enough, you know.
Yeah.
You miss that. And a lot of these guys go home after doing this. They don't know how to adjust. And all of a sudden they adjust with over-medicating and drinking, and then they really don't fit in at home. And the next thing you know, there's a tragedy, or they do too many solos, or too much blow, or too much this. And it's just been a repeat scenario in our business. So for me, you know, talking about all this negativity and the stuff that's going down, my life is really good, brother. I mean, you know, I might have some physical issues from all the surgeries, but I'm healthy as a horse, you know, and at the end of the day, I train, I eat good. I mean, I really have a great outlook on everything, you know, and I have my...
You look good. You look healthy. You really do. It's great to see.
Well, I mean, you know, I just turned 70.
That's amazing.
And a lot of guys that, you know, that are around that I went to high school with, and I see them, they look like they're 95.
Yeah.
You know, and I had some guy come to me the other day, hey, we got the same birthday, we're the same age. I looked, and it was during karaoke at my bar. And he goes, we're the exact same age. I looked at him, bro, he was like 100 miles of bad road.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what did this guy do to himself?
People stop moving. They stop moving. They stop taking care of themselves.
Well, that's what Willie Nelson told me. He said, Hogan, if you slow down, you go down.
Well, look at fucking Mick Jagger. We went to see Mick Jagger we went to see the Stones last year.
Yeah.
And it was Mick Jagger's Biden's age. And he has 2 trailers that he brings everywhere he goes that are just exercise equipment.
Wow.
This guy trains every day. He trains every day. And that's how you can still move around like that when you're 80. He's up there dancing and shit and singing and putting on this amazing show at 80 fucking years old.
Yeah, but
You know?
I think a lot of it's mindset too, you know, because not to Bible thump you to death, bro, but I keep 1 foot in each zone, man. I keep, you know, in this human incarnation, I keep 1 foot, you know, kind of like in the human incarnation, I keep 1 foot in the spiritual incarnation, you know, and when stuff goes down or this goes down or things go wrong in my life, I deal with it, you know, as efficiently as I can. Then I bracket it and I go back to center, you know.